Hey, this is Leading Saints in 2025. Every year we do this. At least I do this. And I come on here, we talk about what's happening, what to expect in 2025. And at the gym this morning, I go to the gym, #gym brag. I actually listened to last year's episode of me talking about Leading Saints in 2024. And it was a live stream, just like this is a live stream. We hope that people are going to tune in, that people are going to ask questions and comment. And if you are watching this delayed, still put some comments in there, still put some questions, and we'll keep our eyes on it and make sure that we're responding to your comments. So that'd be awesome. So I didn't want to do this alone because I don't know if you realize this, but I don't do Leading Saints alone. It is some people assume that I'm just juggling all the balls and doing all the things behind the scenes. But for years, we've had phenomenal people behind the scenes helping me out. And I wanted to include one of those individuals in this live stream, and that is Lillian. What's up, Lillian?
Hey, nothing is up.
Nice. Well, when people ask you, because you have a day job, you work at a wonderful hospital, but you also have worked for Leading Saints for years and years, right? How long has it been? Do you have any idea?
I think since 2016.
Okay. Yeah, that seems about right.
So like 8 years.
And you were, because you went to, it was LDS Business College back then, and then it's now Ensign College. And you got was it a degree in like social media or something?
I got a certificate in social media marketing because I already had a degree that was better than what they offered.
Yeah.
So.
And then I think we connected through the, they have, they encourage students to do some internships. And so you started an internship with Leading Saints. And from there, it just, I realized just how capable you are. Or I desperately needed some help. And you stayed on ever since then. So, right?
Yeah.
It's been great. It's been really cool. So I record an episode. Maybe tell people, like when people ask you, what do you do for Leading Saints? Like, what is it you do? I think I know, but maybe I don't know.
What do I do?
Yeah.
I think mostly if people ask me, I tell them the most obvious thing that they would encounter, and that is that I produced a podcast.
Yeah. So I hit record, I talk to people, and then the minute I hit stop recording, that's when your skill set comes alive, right? And you run with it from there and get to the end of the row, right? Getting images and titles, and I mean, what else is there to it? Make sure it's edited, right? We have a team in the Philippines that helps us edit the podcast with, audio and putting the music on and those things, right? Yep. Anything else that you would add to that?
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And that I don't do titles. You do titles.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at titles.
Unless I don't get back to you, and then you have to come
and
up
then I
with
make something up, and it's always bad.
No. Then you have to read my mind, like, what is? Then I'm like, no, change that title. How'd that get in there, right? And I mean, do you enjoy the process? I mean, I don't know. Maybe you hate it, and you're like, now's the time. I don't know, but it seems like you enjoy it. I mean, you get a sneak peek on all the episodes, right?
Yeah, I do. It's great, and I mean, like, I'm always texting people, like in my work, hey, there's an episode coming out next week. You have to watch it. But it's not out yet, so I'm like teasing.
Nice. Yeah, because I mean, you're weeks ahead that you actually listen to these things, and so you kind of do one run through, making sure, because obviously with your LDS background, and our editors in the Philippines maybe will miss some things that make sense, things that need to be edited, or sometimes I'll say, I just lost my train of thought. Let me get back on track, and then people never find out that I actually messed up there. So it's all good. But you get a sneak peek, and that's probably, I mean, you get whether you like it or not, you have to listen to every episode of Leading Saints, right?
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Any, just thinking about the past year or in the past couple of years, but I don't know, in the past year, has there been any standout where you thought this one this one's special or this one's it?
Well, I struggle with making choices like that. So I went back and looked at all the episodes for the past year. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm like at 18.
Oh, really? 18 of the ones you like?
Well, that I was just like, oh, this is good. But just to start, like way back last January, you did an interview with Jeff and Jamie Downs about streaking.
Oh yeah, streaking. That's right.
Yeah. And I was familiar with the concept. I'd been doing things similar for a while, but that one I've been doing streaks all year now.
Oh, really? Do you have like do you use their app or a different app?
I don't use their app,
Uh-huh.
but I use a different app. And yeah, so
Cool.
there
Awesome.
it is.
And was that was in 2020? That was 2023, right?
January 13th, 2024. So you probably interviewed them in December and then it published in January, or maybe the very first of January.
I didn't realize that some of them feel like yesterday, some of them feel like last decade.
Right.
And I'd love it. Those that are tuning in, if you have a favorite episode that stands out, go ahead and put in the comments. We're monitoring those and love to hear from you as well. But maybe just run through them. What are some other of the 18? What are the highlights of the 18?
Well,
highlights.
Some highlights are we had multiple episodes that were kind of along the theme of teaching in Sunday school.
Mm-hmm.
And so you did an interview with Kevin Jones and a follow-up interview with Julie Hilliard. And then you had a 2-part interview just this past month with Dan Duckworth.
Oh, yeah.
About Sunday school. Those were awesome. And I think probably the one that I just personally was like, wow, after I listened to it, was your interview with Devin Pope.
Oh, yes. That was one of my favorites. I have it noted here. He's the bishop in Southside Chicago. And actually, some of my contacts at the church's communication department is one that sort of put me on to Devin, that's saying you should talk to Devin because he is the bishop of the most baptizing ward in the United States, I think it was, or North America, something like that. It's probably United States. And so I'm like, absolutely. I want to hear what this guy is doing. And just such simple but dynamic ideas, like just a different approach of how he's shepherding his community into the church and getting them exposure to the church, just even through Halloween and activities like that. It's really cool. So.
Yeah, I loved it. I think that's one that I was okay if I had to go back and listen to it twice because it was that good.
Do you have to listen to some episodes twice?
Or? Well, yeah, because a bunch of them I'm picking like a quote or something like that from them. And I'm like too busy editing and just catching the whole thing the first time through. So then I go back and sometimes I'm just like, okay, drag it through. Can't find a good quote. Some people just talk not in quotes. Have you noticed this?
Yeah, that's true, right? And I think that's the nature of Leading Saints, where we're not always interviewing experts, right? There's everyday people who maybe aren't as used to articulating their leadership experience, and so make it work.
You're not going to get a good quote out of me. Sorry. I'm like one of those people that talks in half sentences. Like you're going to get the start of the sentence, and then I'm squirreled off to something else.
Well, we'll take you anyways. So, this is a little self-serving, but the episode I want to mention is one it was my monologue episode of I called it the motivation episode because
that's on my list.
Oh, it is on your list. Wow.
Yeah.
Someone else other than my mom enjoyed it. So, this is good where, I wanted to, because I get this question so much. And even as I was listening to last year's episode of Leading Saints in 2024, this was a common thing that came up, even of asking questions of what, how do I motivate people? And this is the common question over the years that we've received. And I wanted to put together just one episode that wasn't like the end all episode, but at least people could listen to it, walk away and feel like, oh, I'm thinking about this all wrong. And maybe I have a different approach to go about. So there's that. Any other highlights, episodes you want to mention?
Oh, gosh. you had 2 episodes that were sort of around addiction, but not necessarily, that I really liked, that I just thought like, oh, wow, like this doesn't necessarily apply to me, but it definitely applies to everybody. And one of those was Brett and Kristen Walker, who used the ARP like structure to teach. Okay, I see. I'm not prepared enough.
Because it's like I think it's formally an institute class that they teach at a school or at a church. Sorry, but they use the 12 steps, the addiction recovery program book as sort of their curriculum for that.
Yeah,
and they don't it's not just for addicts or just people struggling with some type of an addiction. It's for everybody because obviously we're all struggling with something in life, and that system seems to work for that. So
yeah, I love that. And then actually about addiction, your interview with Nate and Marla Christensen. I'm not very good with words. I like that one.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good.
It was good. That'd be worth going back and listening to as well. Also, just there's quite a few sacrament meeting focused interviews. I'm trying to think of his last name off the top of my head. Ryan in was it Ryan in North Carolina?
Ryan. Yes, I can't think of his last name. Sorry, Ryan.
This happens. There's so many people. Just focusing on sacrament, and then I feel like there's another one.
Stephen Tager.
Oh yeah, Stephen Tager. We kind of broke down how to
Ryan Webb.
Ryan Webb. That's it. Thank you. Shout out to Bishop Webb, which I think he's in the stake presidency now, and we'll just say his episode takes full credit of helping him have more influence in his stake. So, but yeah, what was the other one? Stephen Tager, right? We're just talking about the science of delivering a sermon or delivering a sacrament talk. It was well worth the interview. So. Tell us the story, Lillian, because we are an award-winning podcast now, right? And tell us that story. How'd that come about?
Well, so the Latter-day Saints in Publishing, Media, and the Arts, otherwise known as LDS-PMA, has what they call the Praiseworthy Awards program, where they request candidate submissions every year, and then they give out these awards at their conference. And so I actually submitted one of our podcasts.
And you've done this the last few years, right? Because we've been nominated a few times.
I nominated us one other time, I think. Okay, I can't remember now. But yeah, so okay. I'm not prepared for this. I should have brought it for the episode, but I didn't.
I think the Rob Farrell episode was, you submitted that at one point, and I forget the other one. But essentially, you can't just say, I want to nominate this podcast in general. You have to nominate a specific episode. Is that how it's structured?
Yes.
Yeah.
You nominate just one episode, and it's kind of a newer category. I think it's only been around for a few years, and they expanded it this year. So there were multiple podcast categories. But I lost my other notes.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah. So they have multiple categories, and not just podcasts. So they have, it's because it's publishing, media, and the arts. They have a whole bunch of categories, from books to podcasts to art, music, just lots of amazing stuff. Other people that were nominated or won this year include some of our former guests. Thomas McConkey, Brad Wilcox, Emily Robinson Adams, Heidi Tucker, Tad Callister, Robert L. Millett, Carrie Nielsen, Richie Stedman, and Liz Wiseman. We're all finalists or winners.
And for whatever reason this year, and they have different, I don't know if you mentioned this, they have different categories within podcasts, right? So I forget. Do you remember the name of our category that we won in?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
Most attractive host, something like that. But we won for the Kurt Brown episode. I am not the gatekeeper. I'm the welcoming committee, right? This was a very popular episode. It's definitely, I think, in the top 3 of the most downloaded episodes at this point. But so Kurt Brown, who's actually my mission president, when I say my mission president, like where I'm living right now in American Fork, he is the mission president of the Orem mission. And so he is my mission president currently. And yeah, it was really cool to get that. I guess, how did you find out that we won? Were you like actually watching the live stream?
I was there. I was live in person at the banquet, cutting my meat and eating it. And I want everybody to know that, I mean, I don't know who it was, but somebody sitting at our table was a good luck charm because everybody at our table won.
Oh, really? So. Nice. Nice. So you actually went there and represented us, right? But you didn't have to go make a speech or anything, did you?
Oh no, but I did have to stand up. That was bad enough. Standing up was hard enough.
Right. And you won the award as much as I won the award because you are the producer of the podcast. I am just, I'm the host, but they gave us certificates for me, for you, for our editors, the person who did our, did the music for the episode, and then even Kurt Brown himself, we got a certificate for him, which I still need to get to him. But
right.
I'm hoping to reach out. I want to, obviously Kurt Brown's very busy as a mission president. I've tried to meet him for lunch a few times, and he's just, that's just the nature of being a mission president. There was a mission president he was over the Provo mission. I think he's released now. He did his 3 years, but for those 3 years, we tried to meet up just to record something. Even got made sure he had permission to record, and he was just so busy. Out of over 3 years, I can never corner him. So, but I'm gonna reach out to Kurt Brown and see if he can do a quick a live stream like this. It'd be fun to have him reflect on that and maybe get an update on his leadership journey as well. So it'd be going. So we won, and we are an award-winning podcast. And I don't know what that means exactly, other than
it's just fun to say. Why not?
Right. Right. I need to record a bumper for the episode to pump that award. So good stuff. All right, where should we go to next? Any other episodes you want to mention or highlight, or am I blowing past anything too quickly here?
Oh my gosh, what else? Ganolin Condi. Am I saying her name right?
Ganolin, yeah.
Ganolin, I say it wrong every time. We did one with her that I really liked. I liked Jacob Hansen's discussion of gathering the saints in activity groups. I loved Tammy Harris's conversation about chaplains because I think that studying for just even your lay member, just your average lay member, regular member in the church, just studying the concept of ministering like chaplains do can teach us a lot about how to minister. So I really like that.
And that was another episode that came from the good graces of the church itself. Individuals in the priesthood department suggested I interview her, and it turned out a great episode, and she was really pleased with it as well. And she said that, I forget how she put it, but she's had an increase of inquiries about becoming a chaplain and how that works in our faith and things like that. So really cool.
Awesome.
So yeah. Did you have another one you were going to mention?
I was going to say Maria Duncan. I'll just go through these really fast. I loved hers, just connecting with people, like the concept of interfaith worship and connecting. And BJ Allen.
Yeah, he was great.
Joy McCulloch, shout out.
Oh, yeah. Joy's awesome.
To Joy. Josh Coates, super interesting conversation.
His research, right?
Yeah. And just personally, because I am the ward history, but I can't say it right.
The ward history.
Not the ward historian, it's the ward history specialist, I think.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, so Beth Zeleny did a conversation with her, which was just so motivating.
I know,
right? It
right?
makes you want to get out there and do all the history stuff.
So how has your experience been since that episode?
Nobody is nearly as excited about it as I am.
Well, I just think,
they need to go listen.
That was an episode where I forget how it came to us. I think someone emailed and suggested her or something. And I thought, okay, let's check the box. Let's make sure that we have a ward history specialist episode. And we, at least people can go to it, because it is sort of this nuanced calling, like, what exactly do I do? So like, all right, this might be boring, but we'll get through it. And then like 5 minutes in, I'm like, okay, this is special. This is something. And showing us how to use those tools. And there was actually somebody, so the project manager, however, whatever his title is at the church, who like developed this new unit history resource on the website. I had been connected with him and texting, and he was a little hesitant of being like, well, he doesn't want incorrect information to go out there, and so he's like, hey, would you mind just letting me review the episode before you release it, and maybe I can get ahead of maybe some false information getting out there. And so I'm like, sure. So I sent him the episode, and his response was, I think you found the best person in the church to do that episode. I was like, I know, right? So and I even took time, I'm the elders quorum president in my ward, but I could still, I think, can anybody submit unit history, right? You just have to approve it, or somebody has to approve it anyways, or they get it to you, to the handful of people that can. But as a member of the ward council, I think I have access. So like at our trunk or treat, I went around and took a bunch of pictures, and I quickly read into AI a general summary of what happened, and then had AI, write a well-rounded summary of the event. And then I put it all into the unit history, and there it is, for the experience. And then I didn't realize until the Christmas party, the ward Christmas party, was over, that I did none of that. So again, I'm not the ward historian, but I took time in. I asked the bishop if I could take time in ward council to kind of let everybody know what that is, and hopefully we'll move towards, actually, I don't think we actually have anybody called for that position, but that's going to change. So.
And then, they might also forget to take pictures at the trunk or treat and the Christmas party.
Yes. And then I don't have to worry about it, right? Even though it is fun to take some pictures.
No, maybe you should be doing it, because I don't know, I forgot.
All right. Here's a question from Amy. She says, have you done any episodes concerning the communication councils on a stake or ward level? This is the calling that is fairly new over the last few years. What comes to mind, Lillian?
Well, I think
I know we have.
Well, Maria Duncan, who I already mentioned, is the state communication director, and she talks about her council. That was a really good one.
Yeah, that would be worth checking out. There's a few, like, obviously before it used to be called public affairs. Public affairs. Thank you. And so if you search, here's the best way to search Leading Saints content. You go to Google, you type in Leading Saints, and then the topic. So if you go to Google and type in Leading Saints, public affairs, and public and communications, like state communications, there should be several that pop up. One, Jeff, we just had him on again. What's Jeff's last name? It's left me.
Jeff with a G.
Yeah, G-E, yeah. Man, it's coming. Thatcher.
Jeff Thatcher. Oh,
okay, for the record, I remembered it before Lillian told me. Jeff Thatcher. He did one years ago, like maybe 2016 or something, that was well worth a listen. There's a few of them, but definitely go to Google and check those out. There's some good ones with principles that still work today in 2024, 25. And I've noticed I'm good friends with he's over a whole coordinating council of communication councils or something like that. So, and I've noticed that being in communications in Utah is much different than being communications outside of Utah. Marie Duncan gives a good perspective on, some things to do outside of Utah. You can still do, it still applies for inside Utah, but I just feel like it's different. So I would definitely encourage people to be in touch with their area communication council, get some ideas there, make sure you're doing all the things, but because it can be a calling where you're like, oh, there's not really anything for me to do, so I'll just kind of not do anything. So
No, don't do
Um,
that.
yeah, and then Amy says yes because I'm in the southeast. So I assume southeast, like Georgia, the southeast of the U.S., right? So yeah, there's plenty to do there, and to me, it'd be such a fun calling, like outside of Utah. I mean, inside of Utah,
Right?
sure, I'd love to do it. And the guy that I know says he wants to do this the rest of his life, and he's not an old man. So it's a great great calling that doesn't get enough highlighting. So very good stuff. All right, and yeah, please continue asking questions on episodes or just leadership in general. I did I put out a question, and by the way, I'm going to do a variety of these live streams. Don't worry, Lillian, you don't have to be on every one of them with me. As you can tell, Lillian loves being behind the scenes, making things happen,
Yeah.
and I always tell Lillian, like, hey, if you ever don't work for Leading Saints, like, try and give me a heads up because I'm gonna have to take off several months and figure out what it is you do, your processes, things like that. So, um, so another highlight of make sure that you are in the Leading Saints community, and there's a lot of questions here that I'll probably go over in some future Leading Saints live streams. I'm gonna just kind of hound you with live streams at the end of the year here. One, because we want to orient your focus on giving at the end of the year. Obviously, we just went through the holidays. I guess we're still in the holidays, but Christmas and whatnot. And we hope that you are looking to contribute to Leading Saints because that's how we function and move forward is through large donations, small donations, everything in between. And it really does make a difference. So if you go to leadingsaints.org, hit the donate button, you'll see all the benefits of why you would want to donate. It's not just donate for donate's sake, though. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But we also have an extensive community, an extensive library of content. I mean, when we talked about addiction, we have a whole library, couple libraries full of hundreds of hours of content related to addiction, things like that. So it's really worth it. Carlos, this is what Carlos says. The Cruise promoted an idea. Any chance you would consider a Leading Saints track during Education Week at BYU? Any options there? Well, I don't know if you know this, Carlos, but this year was my first year of being an instructor at Education Week. Did you go to any of those, Lillian? I know you usually.
I did. Oh,
Of
I
course
was
you
at
did.
all of yours,
Oh,
and
you
I
were?
had to literally run all the way across campus
I know
to get to them. So
they put
I'll have you
me
know.
way at the outer boundaries of the campus, but people showed up. We had 3 overflow rooms. Even my mom was bumped to an overflow room, and I mentioned that, and
I
then
was.
somebody went and found her and brought her into the main room. But anyways, so this is interesting. Could there ever be a Leading Saints track during Education Week? Well, I have contact with the people at Education Week, and if they're listening, or maybe I should send them an email, I would love that. However, it probably isn't going to happen for various reasons. It's not like they're their fault or anything, but there's just so much content, so many options, topics, things going on that I'm just feel such honored that they would include me on the schedule. And they have told me that I will be included on next year on this August BYU Education Week. This is really worth. I mean, what you say, Lillian? This is a don't miss
Oh,
thing that we do in the church, right?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you can get there, get there.
Right.
I'm one of those crazy people who stacks my entire week of classes completely full and don't take breaks, and I'm
Yeah.
there from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Yeah. You eat lunch in between classes and things like that.
Cliff bars as you're running from
That's
one
right.
class to
Yeah.
the other.
But there's so many topics, everything from, church history to biblical translations to, leadership. I mean, there's so much there that there's something for everybody. And really, a lot of people, there's a lot of gray hairs there, that people are retired, things like that. And I'm thinking that we need to shift this. That this should be something that everybody, this would be worth taking a week off of work, flying to Utah, and being a part of it. So, yeah. Can you hear my 4-year-old pounding on the piano? That's awesome. This is live, folks. This is what we do. So, but on that note, I'll say this, Carlos, is we're not going to wait around for BYU to do a Education Week track. Of course, I always appreciate them including me in the teaching schedule. So hopefully that'll keep going. But we talked as a board that we want to bring Leading Saints to the greater audience. So we are. My goal is to do not five. Maybe I'm supposed to do 5. That just came out. 4 Leading Saints. I don't know what we're calling them, but essentially, so for example, I'm already in talks with people in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm coming to Raleigh. I'm going to bring a few speakers. One of them being Robert Farrell. I haven't talked to him about it yet, so if you're going to make sure it works for schedule, but that type of speaker. And then we're going to do a Friday night, all day Saturday Education Week type of experience where we'll have a venue, maybe at a local community college, like an auditorium, things like that, where you can come. I'll do, 3, 4, or 5 hours worth of content, not all at once, but spread out over those 2 days. The other speakers will do it. We'll probably have maybe we'll have to get some entertainment or something just to mix it up, but meals and things like that. Opportunities to connect with other leaders in your area. And it's not a training. It's more of like that Education Week type of thing of we're going to have like a workshop. You come to the Leading Saints workshop. We'll do that. So I want to do one in Raleigh, North Carolina. I want to do one in, I'm thinking Gilbert, Arizona. And I'm open to any other suggestions. If there's somebody out there who's like, oh, we got to get Leading Saints to come to my area. Hopefully it's there's a good level of church membership in the area, so we can, have a good body of people there. But if you're willing to run with it and help me get the venue and things lined up like that, let's do it. Let's come to your town, and it'll be awesome. And there's other, like all the time I'll go to a stake, do a fireside while I'm there. We'll do a leadership workshop, things like that. So that's always in the works. I don't try not to do too many of those because it is a lot to travel there but I don't know. There's always ways to make it worth my time. And so that's what's happening in 2024. That should be fun. You want to come to any of those, Lillian?
Sure. But not if I have to speak.
That's right.
I don't think I could be the musical entertainment end either. I don't know.
But you run a mean registration table. I'll tell you
yes, I do. I do.
When I need some stand at a registration table, you do great. So that's what's happening there. So any other questions, put them in there. I think we're going to wrap up here soon. So if you don't ask a question now, you may miss your chance. But like I said, I'm going to do a variety of live streams just to keep it's kind of low key this time of year. A lot of people off of work, maybe they'll appreciate a live stream every day, every few days. Ask some questions. We're going to get into some leadership concepts. We got, I put up a post. When was this? Back in November. What questions do you have about the past, present, or future of Leading Saints? And all sorts of questions came in here that I hope to respond to. And then we'll take your questions live. And I always like to get out there. I'll tell you more things I'm doing in 2025 or what we're planning to do. It was interesting listening to 2024 thinking, like I remember I had that ambition to do this and that, but it doesn't happen. It's one of those things that, what's the old saying? Like, you always feel like you didn't do enough in the year, but you're always amazed what you do in a decade, something like that. And yeah, when we think back, Lillian, to 2014, man, 10 years ago, or 2015, I was like trying to figure out how to activate or enable my podcast mic, not my laptop mic. And I was just figuring it out. And man, we're about 20 million downloads since then. So yeah, the last decade's like, wow, we did a lot. Last year, I'm like, I wish I would have done more, but that's mortality for you. So
yep.
Any final thoughts, Lillian?
No, I have zero final thoughts.
Any dream episodes for 2025 that you're hoping come through?
Wow, that's a good question. Dream episodes. I don't know. I think we could use some more Kurt solo episodes.
All right, more monologue episodes.
Always fun.
I should do that. sometimes I underestimate myself, as we all do as humans. And so I'm like, I don't have to arrange like for a guest. I don't have to like be there a certain time. I just have to do it. So I've got some ideas for sure. But Carlos has a message for you, Lillian. He says, thanks for all your efforts, Kurt and Lillian team,
Oh, I
all the
like being
people.
called the team. That's really fun.
Team. Much appreciated. Happy New Year, and looking forward to what's ahead. Thank you, Carlos. We'll keep it coming. It's an honor. We got the coolest jobs in the world, Lillian. I don't know if you realize that, but
absolutely,
it's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. So, all right, I'm going to announce some live streams here in a few minutes. I'll post those, and you can definitely make sure that you're subscribed to YouTube. We got to get to there's something about, as a nonprofit organizations, you have to get to 10,000 subscribers in order to take donations through Leading Saints, and you get a few other benefits. So get us to 10,000. Make sure you like Leading Saints on YouTube, even if you don't necessarily go there for your content, since we broadcast and post things elsewhere. But yes. All right, more to come. That concludes our live stream. See ya.